This is Max Scarf. I've been away for a while. Didn't have very good internet for uploading, so I haven't really done any videos lately. But this is just going to be a quick progress update. I know it's been a while, but I've accomplished some of the stuff that I set out to do. It's getting very close, so yeah, this should be pretty cool, potentially. But I'll hop right into it. I don't want to make this too long because I'm just getting back into it, and you know, it is what it is. So let's hop right into it. Last time I went through this plan, which was to create all these different services: the cycler, the memory, the reflex, the executioner. So you can see here, if you want to know what they are, watch the last video. You can see here I've got the cycler. That's just creating new cycles. So that's doing that all the time. If I go into my database, then once I log in, if I go into the database, go to my tables, go to my cycle table, and if I order these by value ascending, yeah, I know an update's available, I don't want to do it yet. You can see here that every second it's creating a new cycle, right? And this is just doing it literally every second. So I started running it, what, 5 minutes ago? And I'm up to 247. So these are going to get cut down to like half seconds, then quarter seconds, etc. That's fine. I don't actually think I need this value, but it's quite useful for planning, for ordering plans around, which might not make much sense right now, but it makes sense to me. So the cycler is literally just doing this, and if I refresh it, every second it's creating a new row, you know? So you can see that incrementing. That's fine. So once it reaches 300 rows, that is exactly 5 minutes, right? So that's fine. The cycler is creating new cycles. The memory service receives memories, creates experiences, and clears old unused memories, right? So that's the executioner, that's the reflex, the wisdom. So this is just creating new experiences, it's just running, that's fine. When I run all these, you'll be able to see them doing stuff because I've created logs, created like console write lines that will log what they're doing. So that's pretty cool. So I'll just try and lay these out in a way where you can see them all at once, you know. Try and arrange these in a somewhat reasonable way. Oh god. Right, I need to reorganize these so that they're actually matching the order that I'm laying them out, because it'll help. Cycler, we don't really need to see the cycler, honestly. That can go like all the way over here. And then we've got the test application. This is the main kind of meat. Well, it's not the meat. The rest of it is the meat. This is like the actual user input. I think I've showed you this before. It's not doing anything special. You can type on to turn on a switch. You can type off to turn off a switch. And you can type exit to exit the application, right? So all these are done currently. So if I look at, briefly, my test application, and I look at what I'm doing to set up my test application, the first thing it's doing when it runs is it's creating an interest. Well, first of all, it's creating a switch and a bulb, right? The switch is a sense that is read by the AI. The bulb is a sense that is read by that is written to by the AI. So it's in control of it. I create one of my reflex providers and I say, I want a new interest with a value of 5. I want to add an action to that interest, which is when my switch is set to true, right? And then I want to create a plan, which is set my bulb to true in one cycle, right? So here in add action, can't modify that. In add action, you can pass in the cycle value, so you can say for this plan, plans start off on cycle 0. When it started, each cycle it will check if there's any actions in that plan, so that you can space out actions if you want, and you can make it wait for a while. So this is just saying, on the first cycle, set my bulb to true, right? And then I'm creating a reflex, and I'm saying this reflex has this interest, which is the switch being set to true, and it has this plan, which is the bulb getting set to true, and then I'm just creating a new reflex using the interest and the plan. So this update, interest, update, plan is actually saving them to the database, and then this is saying I want a new reflex that is using those two. So you could have multiple reflexes using the same interests and the same plans. That's fine. Then I'm creating another one doing the same thing, but just for false. So when my switch is set to false, and set my bulb to false. And that's it, right? That's all the setup. So normally an application would do this once, and then it would store them, but I'm just creating them every time just now for debug purposes. And I'm manually creating the reflex. I'm going to make a tool for creating reflexes. That's the next thing I'm going to do. But that's basically it, right? So if I pull these up, what we can see is, if I type on, that should send my switch being on to the AI. It should trigger that reflex, which will then set the bulb to true, which will then send that request back to my test application, which should say I've turned the bulb on, right? And we'll see the stages through these different services as it kind of bubbles through them. So if I hit enter, that sent the memory, it's been stored as an experience, it's started the plan, the executioner has triggered the action, and the bulb has been turned on. You see that? I know it goes quite quickly, but whatever. I'll do it again. So if I do off, stores the experience, starts the plan, triggers the action, right? That might not seem that impressive, but I'm actually working on like a top secret test app, I guess, which is doing something much more clever with it. So I'll show off that once it's working, but for now you just get this shitty little bulb off, bulb on application. So now that I've got the reflex service, this is perfect, but it's never going to learn. It's just going to do the reflex that I've told it. So then I need to make another service for creating reflexes and also for launching plans without it being a reflex action. So the idea is there'll be something that is creating plans based on its own knowledge of what it believes it should be doing. But there'll also be the ability that if it keeps doing that every time, and it knows that it's a certainty, basically, that it should be doing that, it'll be able to switch it to a reflex action instead of just a kind of action that it is deciding upon. And you can see there it's deleted one old memory because it's been, I think I delete them every 5 minutes, so it must have been 5 minutes since I did something. Maybe it doesn't delete them every 5 minutes, maybe it deletes them every minute. But whatever, right? Whatever. So you can see that is all doing all the stuff this says, right? So the cycle's creating cycles, the memory is receiving memories and turning them into experiences. You can see that, and they've got the score of the interest that we created. Here it's been, the reflex has been looking for experiences and then triggering plans with the interests. You can see that here. It's starting all the plans, but there's only one plan for each. And the executioner is triggering the actions for the plan. And that is sending ideas out to the test application, which is then using those ideas to display that it's turning the bulb on, basically. So it's very simple, but the coding behind it is pretty complex. I would happily walk through it, but I'm not convinced that anyone actually cares enough for me to walk through it. I think results tend to be more impressive than the code, but I might do a video on that anyway. For now, I wanted to keep this quite short. I realise it's already almost 10 minutes long, but whatever. That's fine. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, on. See it go through again. Boom, 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 boom. I'm impressed with it, but I know how much effort went into it, so I'm kind of biased. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, if it's lame or not. And I should be back to doing regular updates now that I'm back to having my decent internet back. So, cool. Yeah, until next time, peace out, guys.